Good morning, everybody. Mike Benz, Citizen Warrior Foundation, proud to announce our foundation 501c3 in process launches on Friday. The website is on countdown and it unlocks 5:30 p.m. at that time. And you'll get to see what we've been up to. First program is Depositors First. What's Depositors First? Well, the various lending and custodial platforms, Celsius Network, Vold, and Voyager have filed for Chapter 11. So there's a risk that they file Chapter 7. Every negotiation that come their way, they've been unable to or unwilling to negotiate with the investors. And so we found several paths forward that are viable. Nothing is certain in life, but we're quite confident that our tactics are better than those that become before us. So, to the 1.7 million people affected by Celsius, to the 500,000 between Voyager and Vold, there may be good times ahead of releasing deposits in a scheduled manner, dissolving and taking a position in some of the ownership of these platforms, as well as putting safety rails in place through a separate program to ensure the ongoing audit of the risk management on their balance sheets that these lending platforms are taking, because they are not regulated, and we would rather us and our people who are highly competent in financial management and risk management do that audit, as opposed to some stringent reporting requirement that would essentially be a barrier to entry for innovation of other lending and custodial platforms. So now that it's no longer a conspiracy, let's talk about it. Well, as it turns out, many DeFi or decentralized finance pools, AMMs, they're called automatic money makers, which they generate yield, meaning interest. You stake tokens or digital assets in there for a percentage of that digital asset or a derivative of that digital asset, have been attacked or were attacked. And that resulted in a cascade of events that put a lot of these custodial / lending platforms, however you want to categorize them, into a state of financial uncertainty, forcing them to file for Chapter 11. Now, the primaries or the principals of at least the Celsius network has, let's say, not been overly impressed with the offers that have come his way, because he's been asked to incur individual costs to forfeit some of his interest in some of his mining operations in order to save Celsius from bankruptcy, where all of our stuff goes to zero, baby. Not an option. So because no one seems to have organized any relief effort or implemented any type of tactic that is viable or represents a viable solution in the real world, we have taken that mantle, and that's what we've been working on for the last 2 months. We have been silent because we would prefer to be silent and act than talk and do nothing. Well, I'm proud to say that soon that action will come into effect, and everyone will get to enjoy the outcome of what a few people with conviction is capable of producing when they put their heads together and they think, act as opposed to speak empty words, and draw people together towards a common cause. So on the date of the unlock of the site, you will see a plethora of volunteer roles. You will also be able to donate and get a tax deduction. You will also be able to, if you own a nonprofit or a for-profit entity, become an affiliate where we can support one another in our causes, especially those aligned with our own. Our cause, our purpose, in effect, is to act as a digital shield against bad actors within the DeFi space who go about liquidating these pools and causing major losses in these lending platforms, which are the mechanisms with which they offer interest to those who deposit into earnings accounts. to ensure that it's less likely to happen again. And lastly, our research and development team will track through the blockchain and the various transaction IDs all of the attacks that had occurred on all of the DeFi pools that had led to at least Celsius Networks' position of having to file for Chapter 11. So at least we will know for certain who are the bad actors in the cryptosphere. And that's direct causal linkage. That's not speculation or conjecture. Now, where the conjecture comes in is who they did that in cooperation with. But we will leave to the, quote, conspiracy theorists who know a bit more than we do because they are insiders. But at least as the public, you will know the causal link between a private company being somewhat healthy to being driven to complete financial uncertainty, resulting in effectively scaled despair around the world of its depositors who no longer have access to their stored industriousness. We will not allow, permit, or sit by as people have to suffer as all that they have built in their life and entrusted to what should have been a regulated and, let's say, relatively safe and insured platform to go under and all of their stuff go to zero. That is not a just world, so we do fight for economic justice, especially for the most industriousness, the industrious who have coped with the complexity of the DeFi realm and who simply were driven to the few platforms that were at that point available because they knew of the impending, let's say, inflation of the dollar, and they did not want their purchasing value to go to pennies on the dollar over years, and instead rather to put their money in these accounts, gain yield, and keep up to some extent the value of their purchasing. So anyway, this is Mike Benz. Foundation launches on Friday. Tax deductible donations, so you want to be able to get some of those sweet write-offs off your earnings, your taxable earnings. Well, you know where to get that write-off. So please share this message. This is a message of a call to cooperation. We're going to hold the few who have caused the many suffering to account by showing the facts of how they did it, who did it, and perhaps why they did it. Buying up distressed assets, getting client acquisition for pennies, what would be the dollar. That's not being a hero, friends. That is being a predator, and we will tell you who those predators are. So these are exciting days with which we live, and we welcome you to live them with us. So, this is Mike Benz, Citizen Warrior Foundation, signing out.